Let me be completely honest with you about something that most people never talk about. There was a point where checking a bank account felt like a punishment, where the end of the month came faster than the paycheck did, where buying something small, something as simple as a coffee or a birthday gift for someone you love, came with this quiet, sickening feeling in the stomach. Not because you were irresponsible, not because you were lazy, but because nobody ever sat you down and showed you how money actually works. And that is the part that breaks my heart the most, because you have been working hard. Probably harder than most people around you. You wake up, you show up, you give your time, your energy, your best hours of the day to something or someone else, and at the end of it, the number sitting in your account still does not reflect any of that effort. It still does not feel like enough, it still does not feel like freedom. That feeling right there, that quiet frustration that you carry around but rarely say out loud, that is exactly what this is about today. So stay with me, because what I am about to walk you through changed everything, and I mean that in the most literal way possible. It started with $100 a week. That is it. No inheritance, no lucky break, no secret connection. Just $100. Every single week. Invested consistently, and over time, that simple decision created something that most people spend their entire lives chasing and never actually find. But before I show you exactly how that works, I want you to know something. There is a program linked in the description below this video. It is designed specifically for people who are done hoping things will get better on their own. It is for people who are ready to stop guessing and start doing what actually works. I am not going to tell you that you need it. Honestly, if you think you have already figured this out, this probably is not for you. But if there is any part of you that is tired of feeling stuck, keep watching. Because by the end of this, you will understand exactly what has been missing. Now let me take you somewhere most financial content never goes. Most people think investing is for rich people. That is the first lie that has been keeping you broke. They picture someone in a suit, sitting in a glass office, moving millions around like chess pieces. And they look at their own situation and think, I do not have enough to even start. I have bills, I have debt, I have responsibilities, I cannot afford to invest. And here is the painful truth about that thinking. That belief is not protecting you, it is costing you. Every single month that you wait, every week that passes where that $100 just gets absorbed into expenses or disappears without a trace, is a week of compounding growth that you will never get back. Let me show you what that actually looks like in real numbers, because this is where it gets emotional. If you invest $100 every single week, that is roughly $400 a month. Over 1 year, you have put in about $5,200 of your own money. Now in the market, historical averages in broad index funds have returned around 10% annually over long periods of time. That is not a guarantee. But it is what the data shows over decades. After 1 year, your account is not just $5,200. The growth has started. Small, yes, but it has started. Now here is where most people stop paying attention, and it is the biggest mistake they make. After 5 years of doing this, your account grows to somewhere around $32,000. You personally contributed about $26,000. The rest, roughly $6,000, was created by your money making money. You did not work for that. You did not trade hours for it. It just grew. After 10 years, you are looking at somewhere in the range of $85,000 from contributing around $52,000 of your own money. That difference, that $33,000 you did not have to earn, that is what compounding looks like. That is time working for you instead of against you. After 20 years, that weekly $100 habit could be worth somewhere around $380,000. From roughly $104,000 of your own contributions. You understand what that means? You more than tripled your money by simply staying consistent and not touching it. Now I want you to stop for a second and really feel that. Because that is not a lottery ticket. That is not a viral investment that blew up overnight. That is just you being consistent over time. That is you deciding every single week to pay your future self before anyone else gets a chance to take it from you. And here is what $380,000 looks like in real life. That is financial breathing room. That is looking at your bank account and not feeling your chest tighten. That is being able to help your family without going into debt to do it. That is waking up on a Monday without that slow dread that creeps in when you have no financial cushion beneath you. That is what $100 a week, done consistently, actually buys you. Not just money, freedom. But I know what some of you are thinking right now. $100 a week feels impossible right now, and I hear you. I genuinely do. Because that feeling of looking at your budget and trying to find $100 that is not already spoken for is one of the most stressful feelings there is. It is like trying to squeeze water from something that is already bone dry. So let me flip this around for a second. Because this is where people get disqualified from their own financial future without even realizing it. Most people spend money in a way that has never been audited, not even once. Subscriptions they forgot about. Takeout that happened because nobody planned ahead. Small purchases that felt like nothing in the moment but add up to hundreds every month. The average household wastes more than $300 a month on things that provide zero return, zero growth, and zero lasting satisfaction. So the question is not whether you have $100 a week. The question is whether that $100 is currently going toward your future or quietly disappearing into your present without your permission. And that is a distinction that changes everything. Now let me be clear about something, because this matters enormously. I am not telling you to suffer. I am not telling you to stop living your life. What I am saying is that there is a version of your life that looks almost identical to right now, except $100 per week is quietly being redirected into something that is working for you in the background. Growing, compounding, building. While you go about your day, while you sleep, while you take that trip, while you live your life. The cost of not doing this is not just the money you miss out on. The real cost is time. And time is the one thing you cannot buy back. Here is something that the wealthiest, most financially successful people in the world have understood for generations. They do not get rich by working harder than everyone else. They get wealthy by making decisions earlier than everyone else, and then they stay consistent longer than everyone else. That is the entire secret. Decide early, stay consistent, let time do the heavy lifting. The people who figured this out did not have more discipline than you. They did not have more intelligence. They simply had someone who showed them how it worked early enough to matter. And that information, that knowledge, that roadmap made all the difference between where they ended up and where everyone else remained stuck. And that is the gap. That is the real gap between people who build wealth and people who spend their whole lives feeling like they are almost there but never quite arriving. It is not talent. It is not luck. It is information applied at the right time with the right consistency. Let me paint you a picture of two people. Both work the same job. Both earn the same amount. One of them starts investing $100 a week at a certain point in their life. The other one says they will start when things settle down, when the timing is right, when they have a little more. The first person, 20 years later, has close to $400,000 quietly sitting and growing. The second person is still waiting for the right moment, still telling themselves that someday they will get serious about it, still feeling that low hum of financial anxiety every single month. The only difference was one decision, made consistently, week after week. I need you to hear this next part carefully, because this is not about being perfect. This is not about having everything figured out before you start. This is not about being some kind of financial experts. Some of the most successful long-term investors in the world started knowing almost nothing. They simply started, they learned as they went, and they did not stop. You do not need to know everything. You just need to begin. And you need to begin before you feel fully ready, because that feeling of being fully ready almost never comes on its own. This is where most people let their future slip away from them. Not because they did not care, not because they were not smart enough, but because they waited for a signal that never came, while the clock quietly kept moving. You already know what staying where you are feels like. You have been living that. And there is a version of your future that looks radically different from your present, not because something miraculous happened, but because you made one simple, consistent decision and held on to it. If you are ready to stop guessing and start building something real, the program linked in the description below this video exists for exactly this moment. Not tomorrow, not when things get easier. Now. Because the people who take action today are not the ones who had more. They are the ones who decided that waiting cost more than starting. Go check it out. The link is right there below this video. Your future self is already waiting for you to make this move.